Hey everyone, on this week's episode, I'm going to talk about all the cool Lucasfilm Easter eggs you can find throughout Disney parks.
And then I'm going to revisit one of my favorite movies, The Princess Bride, celebrating its 1-year anniversary on Disney+. All that and more on this week's show.
Hello out there, podcast family. My name is Chris.
And I'm Kelly.
And welcome to this week's show. So excited to be here. Mm-hmm. You're donning the weirdest, Yoda ears ever. I like the other ones better.
Okay, I think these are Grogu ears.
Okay.
I don't think they're Yoda ears. I think they're Grogu ears.
The other ones are actually Yoda ears, right?
The other ones are Yoda ears, and I've worn them before.
Because of the gray hair.
Because of the hair sticking out of the ears.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear them again. I've worn them before. They're fairly fragile.
You mean the hair specifically?
Yeah, the hair is very fragile. And so these are more sturdy ears, and I think they're really cute. They're super comfy to wear around. So
as long as they're comfy and cute.
Grogu ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw that the pups were wearing them.
They tried them on earlier for Instagram. I thought they hated them pretty much every second of it.
Well, they look great on you.
Thank you.
So this week we had downloads from Auburn, Maine. Auburn, Maine. I had no idea there was such a place.
I did not either.
Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, Asheville.
I'm happy to see Asheville. I have a special place in my heart for Asheville.
I know. I love Asheville.
Manhattan. I also have a special place in my heart for Manhattan.
Yeah. Live show there, people.
I know. It would be great. And Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I'd like to go to, I don't know about Auburn, Maine. Maybe it's lovely, but I'd like to go to all these other places.
Absolutely. I think those all sound great. For it. Road trip.
For sure. The contest is ongoing.
If you're
watching on YouTube.
Yep, we've got it out here. I don't feel like I've seen enough conversation out there regarding the Loungefly bag. And so I'm going to pimp that out a little bit because I think, that's normally sort of the draw for the contests. Uh-huh. And I don't know that people fully appreciate how awesome this Grogu
Loungefly is.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do some work on that here in the next couple of days.
Okay.
Just really
make sure
liven that up a bit.
Make sure people really understand how awesome this is.
Yes, exactly.
All right, that seems fair. You ready for some Main Street action?
Let's go to the news.
Okay. So this past week, Disney had their investor call, their regularly scheduled investor call, and Bob Chapek said a few very interesting things. Number one, they have a metric called intent to visit, which I love. This is right in my data analytics wheelhouse. Right. Intent to visit metrics that they track are back to pre-pandemic levels. So they're seeing intent to visit match what we saw in 2019.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I love that. I'm just so happy that people are feeling, not just seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, but feeling that light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
He also hinted that face coverings could go away by summer. Now, interestingly, today, on the day we're recording, Universal eliminated their mask mandate.
Completely.
Wow.
Yeah.
For vaccinated people.
And so,
I don't know. I don't know how we're going to tell how they who's vaccinated.
You got to show proof of vaccination then, and people are not going to want to do that.
I'm sure that they're not going to.
Right.
It's going to be an honor system thing, I bet. But in any case, Bob Chapek says probably by the summer. He didn't say it in so many words, but he said, I think people are going to feel a lot more comfortable in the parks this summer, considering the heat.
All right.
And he also mentioned that capacity levels, last we heard capacity was at 35%. Mm-hmm. He sort of mentioned that capacity levels had been increasing already. Mm-hmm. People sort of felt like the parks had increased capacity.
Right.
But he didn't say to what point capacity levels were there.
Right. Yeah.
So there you go. So that's the big news that came out of the investor call. That, and they managed to, they lost a bunch of money, but they've managed their money well through this time.
Sure.
Is what we've basically learned.
Sure.
Walt Disney World Guest Services Twitter account has relaunched. That's good news. So
Okay.
at WDW Guest Services
Okay.
has relaunched. It has been down since March of last year.
Wow.
So that's one of those little nods towards things are coming back around.
Right.
And I don't know if we ever give enough credit to things coming back around the way they were.
I know.
It just what the whole world has been through. Just it just seems like a blur.
Yeah.
The Walt Disney World College Program acceptance letters went out.
Oh,
I don't know if this
exciting.
is important to anybody else in the world, but
know.
I love this.
Yes. I think it's great.
I love the college program. I love the idea of it. And they are expecting June 14th arrival date.
That's
For
fantastic.
the college kids coming on campus.
Good for them.
The housing will support gender neutral housing this year.
Oh, wow.
Which is cool.
Well done, Disney.
So yeah, you if you choose gender neutral housing, then anybody from any gender can be in those rooms.
Right.
They are set aside as gender neutral housing.
Right.
But it's cool. It's progressive thinking. Yeah. Refurbishment is now coming to the DVC rooms at Poly.
Okay.
So, which, you could sort of expect, I guess, right?
Yeah.
They weren't going to make the whole resort Moana themed and leave out the Disney rooms and the DVC rooms.
Yeah, I guess I assumed they were already doing those rooms.
They were not. Because
they were nicer, I guess, than the bungalows.
The DVC and the bungalows are out on the water.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So they were nicer, though, than the standard rooms.
Yeah, they're larger. They've got the extra bathroom, but the theming is now totally different from what everywhere else was. Yeah. So they'll bring those, I think, now up to speed. It'll be interesting to see what they do with DVC reservations. Yeah. Because, when I go to Poly, I expect to have that extra bathroom. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. They've also accelerated the construction on the entrance venue, the main entrance to Poly, they're speeding that up to get it done. Okay. Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser construction they're saying it'll complete in January of 2022. So I think that's a little bit later than they originally intended, but okay. So, start saving up.
Goodness, man, that's
Scott Gustin, who we follow on Twitter. We love him. I highly recommend following him and Brooke Geiger McDonald for any Disney fans. Really any theme park fans, but they're particularly great at Disney. He caught harmonious testing from outside the park the other night. And
oh, wow.
So he could see sort of in the distance the lights and he could hear the harmonious music.
Okay.
For the new show at Epcot.
I mean, as big as those barges are, he was probably, 20 miles away.
Maybe. It's possible, yeah. And just a few nights prior to that, there was Epcot Forever testing. That's exciting because that suggests that they might actually run Epcot Forever again before they launch Harmonious.
Because Harmonious launches
October the 1st.
October 1st for the 50th.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And so my question was, will they just leave all of this down until then?
I doubt it.
Well, it doesn't sound like it now.
Yeah. I'd say no.
So, Disneyland Paris to announce park reopening very soon. Air quotes, very soon. I know.
Okay, Paris.
Very sad for the Parisians.
Whatever, Paris. See you in 2022.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I'm specifically
planning on that.
For me and you. I hope we see that.
It's going to be their 30th anniversary, and they're making some updates and things like that, and hopefully things will be back to normal. Yeah. And that's my hope right now.
Hopefully they've got that castle in order.
Yeah.
By the time, because it's covered in scaffolding right now.
No, I want it to be perfect. Paris.
Perfect for us.
Want it to be perfect, man.
Hey, this last little segment is just so ridiculous, but again, it's one of those little things that says we're getting back to normal.
Okay.
The trash can lids flaps are coming back.
Gosh. Isn't that hilarious?
It is. The last time we went, to bring that full circle, the trash can flaps had been tied back so that you didn't have to touch them.
But I mean, I'll just say I kind of liked it.
I know, because who wants to touch
the trash can?
I know.
But I've got to believe that it does help with, sanitation to keep bugs and bees and such out of the trash cans and, smells or what have you. But, I mean, they're emptying those trash cans like every 30 minutes. I mean, they are on it. And so I kind of preferred them being up. I thought it was a better experience.
Your trash throwing away experience was better.
It was better because I wasn't worried that I was going to have to touch the can. I don't think people realize that that's something I worry about. Chick-fil-A has launched those new cans that are like auto, where they sense that you're there and so you don't have to touch them. I appreciate that, Chick-fil-A, heads up. And so, I mean, I'll just say, for somebody that's a germaphobe like me, I appreciated the trash can flaps being gone.
I think it's amazing all the things that you have strong opinions on.
I don't think you fully understand what it's like to be in my head. And the things that I worry about on a daily basis from a germ perspective. And this was pre-COVID.
I know.
I was against trash can
lid flaps
pre-COVID. Like COVID has only heightened things.
Are you ready for a mini take?
Might as well be. Okay. You think it's going to be about trash can flaps?
I don't. Here we go. You ready?
All right.
What is your absolute, this is a gimme for you, what is your absolute must-do attraction at Magic Kingdom?
Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. That's easy for you. So easy.
Haunted Mansion. Is it not easy for you?
I don't know why you even go for anything else.
Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride. I would say we always do Pirates of the Caribbean.
We always do Pirates. Yeah.
I love both of them. And I'll do fast passes for them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I love both of those rides.
I know. I'm going to say Pirates of the Caribbean.
I love that you specifically said the Caribbean after I just called it Pirates of the Caribbean.
I didn't do that on purpose.
Is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
Both are acceptable.
But in this particular situation...
Oh, I'm sure it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's not Pirates of the Caribbean.
I do not believe so. Although, both are acceptable. If you want to be wrong, go ahead.
I think it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
So I think that's my must-do attraction.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is Pirates, yeah.
When things get back to truly normal in the parks, I think we definitely need to do that Pirates of the Caribbean interactive game so that we can get the free Fast Pass for it.
Right. Because it's all about the free Fast Pass.
Well, yes.
I just thought it might be fun to play the game.
Sure, it's fun to play the game. It's about the free Fast Pass. You can get 4 Fast Passes, although they're doing away with the Fast Pass thing, right?
Yeah, I think.
Well, then I better get a good prize at the end of that.
Really?
Something the equivalent of a Fast Pass.
Okay. No, you like a free thing.
Okay.
I'm going to move on to my Tomorrowland.
Okay.
Which is, at the very least, Lucasfilm themed.
Okay.
Although there's a lot of Star Wars action, obviously, in the Lucasfilm world.
Right.
So D23, the fan,
the fan club, official fan club.
The official fan club, yeah. They're on their website. They are celebrating 50 years of Lucasfilm.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
It is fun. I had no idea it was 50 years. Gosh, but I think they're obviously including his first film in there, which we're gonna talk about just a little bit.
Okay.
So one of the things they launched, so there's that. There's the Lucasfilm is 50 years that D23 is celebrating. There's also this thing where I've just been obsessed with giving Aaron C. a good answer to his Easter egg question.
Oh, my goodness. Aaron C., dude. He has worn you out.
It is, man. Keeps me up at night. But so D23 did something awesome.
Okay.
They put out a list of all of the Lucasfilm Easter eggs that you can find in the parks.
Oh my goodness!
So
this is all for Aaron C. Then.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading this article, so I thought that this would be so. On our next trip to these places, we need to be on the lookout or on the listen out.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't think that's a thing.
For these Easter eggs in the parks, these Lucasfilm related Easter eggs. You ready? I don't know if you are.
Okay, I'm probably not.
I think that all of this Star Wars talk and Indiana Jones talk is just going to make your ears bleed, and I'm okay with that. Huh. So, in the Star Tours attraction,
I know that attraction.
Great. I'm wondering if you do.
I do too.
Okay.
It's like the old Star Wars ride before all the
Fair
new
enough.
stuff was launched.
Okay, you do.
Thank you. Always a tone of surprise.
Yeah. So in the Star Tours attraction in Disney World, Disneyland, over the intercom, you may hear an announcement for someone being paged. Mr. Igriag Sakul.
What the?
Which is George Lucas backwards.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So you'll hear that. Also in the
I mean, that is a deep cut. That is a deep cut.
In the Tokyo version of Star Tours, the Star Speeder 1000, which is technically the ride that we're in, the vehicle we're in, it is created by the Sakul Industries, which is Lucas backwards.
Oh my goodness! I thought you were going to say that for us in Japanese.
If you think that is a deep cut, by the way, you might as well just take a nap for the rest of this.
Oh, gosh.
Another announcement in Star Tours related to a land speeder that they reference that has a license plate number THX 1138. That is, of course, I mean, as you well know, a reference to
absolutely nothing.
It's a reference to George Lucas's first film. Yeah, which is
gosh.
It did star Robert Duvall and Donald Pleasance and some other folks, but that was the title of the first movie George Lucas ever made, and not a huge hit like Star Wars.
Man,
the title THX 1138 came from the phone number that he had when he was living in San Francisco.
Oh my goodness!
That's funny.
Randomness.
I know. The spaceport on the Tokyo version, the spaceport that you're supposedly in for Star Tours is named THX 1138. Okay, so when you're in Star Tours at Disney World, Hollywood Studios, and you're walking out of the starport, you're walking through this hallway, and there's all these they almost look like movie posters, but they're ads for vacation destinations, and they're all locations.
Like Tatooine.
Like Tatooine, exactly. Mm-hmm. And Hoth and others, and the others.
Sure, right, like Batu.
So one of the ads running in the terminal is for Tatooine. Mm-hmm. And it says, if adventure has a name, it must be Tatooine.
Ah.
That is literally almost word for word the actual tagline for the movie Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when it came out in the movie theaters back in the day. It was, if adventure has a name, it must be Indiana Jones.
You think, did they do that on purpose?
They did that on purpose, absolutely.
Because they assume that there's cross-pollination between...
Well, they're all Lucasfilm.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the people who liked Indiana Jones, people who like Star Wars.
Well, I would say that that's probably true, but George Lucas in particular made both.
Okay.
So.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. And you'll see a lot of that cross-pollination of Star Wars and indie stuff in here and in the movies.
Okay.
In the queue for Star Tours, we get to see a little droid. He's G2, and he is scanning luggage to go on the ship.
Okay.
And in the luggage, specific to Lucasfilm stuff, we actually see the Major Domo character from Captain EO inside a piece of luggage. Of course, George Lucas.
Oh, is that the little orange thing with the long tail?
No, he's one of the musical
devices.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also see a bag that has a fedora and a whip, like Indiana Jones wears.
Oh, gosh.
There's also call-outs in the luggage to the Black Hole and Toy Story movies, which are not Lucasfilm, but Disney related.
Mm.
Don't watch the Black Hole. It is not great.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for that.
Okay. So over in Disneyland, they have the Indiana Jones Adventure.
Okay.
Okay, it's a ride over there. It sounds great. But I've never ridden it, so I'm talking about something I don't really know here. Mm-hmm. Once you exit the projector room, you find yourself in Indiana Jones's office, which looks like it was made out of old shipping crates and stuff. Mm-hmm. And on one of the shipping crates is stamped Club Obi-Wan. Now, that's obviously a double cut, right? You know why.
Right.
Obi-Wan is a throwback to
Star Wars,
Obi-Wan Kenobi. But also in the movie, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the very beginning of the movie, they are hanging out in Club Obi-Wan. like in the movie.
Obi-Wan owns a club?
No, but that was the name of the club that they were in. They like run out of the club and
but
you can see.
that's not what Obi-Wan does like for a living.
No, it's a whole different universe of movies.
Oh.
The Indiana Jones movies and Star Wars movies.
Okay.
Obi-Wan's a Jedi, man.
So you're saying they don't happen simultaneously? Like Indiana Jones is not happening during the same...
At the beginning of all the Star Wars movies, it says, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay, so...
A long time ago.
That's not very specific. But so you're saying that the Star Wars stuff happened before Indiana Jones. They did not happen concurrently.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I'm trying so hard to keep up. This doesn't make sense. I feel like maybe Obi-Wan did have a club on Earth that Indiana Jones could
in
have
Hong Kong
gone to.
No, I don't think so.
Was it? Did you say something about it being in Hong Kong?
Yeah, I think that's where the opening takes place. I think.
Oh gosh, I'm trying so hard to keep up.
I know, babe. So when you're in the queue for the Indiana Jones adventure at Disneyland,
okay,
you walk past a mine car and a truck, and both of those are actual props from Indiana Jones movies.
Okay, that's fun.
Which is cool. I'm sure people have walked by those tons of times and never noticed.
Just assumed they were just there.
Yep.
Not real.
In the area of Tokyo Disney Sea called the Lost River Delta, along the riverbank is parked a seaplane, and the call letters on the side of that seaplane are C-3PO.
Oh, is that the same seaplane that Jock Lindsay flew?
It's not, but I'm so glad you brought that up.
Okay.
It's a wonderful segue.
I knew that Jock Lindsay flew a seaplane.
You certainly did. Jock Lindsay's hangar bar is next.
Okay.
And we have been there. His plane in the movie and in the bar has the call letters OB-CPO, which is sort of a call out to Obi-Wan and C-3PO. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but apparently, if you look closely, you can see those call letters in the movie too, in the Indiana Jones movie.
Okay.
Obviously, Jock Lindsay's whole hangar bar is
filled with stuff.
It's just filled with Lucasfilm stuff. There's a call out to R2-D2 in there on overhead if you sit in one of the booths, as well as RX-24, which was the very first pilot in the first Star Tours attraction.
The name of the pilot was RX-24. And he was a droid.
He was a droid. Look at you, man.
I'm trying so hard right now.
Obviously, there's
so hard.
There's Jock Lindsay Snake Lunchbox and Skipper Canteen.
Yeah,
that was not in the article, and I'm going to write them about that one.
Seriously, but you also haven't said anything about Batuu. Are there not Easter eggs in Batuu?
Well, I mean, the whole place is a Star Wars world. It's not really an Easter egg.
Right? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it seems like you enjoyed it thoroughly.
I struggled so hard. I tried so hard to sound interested and to listen. But I think you're spot on with that section for this month, specifically since we're doing the Star Wars giveaway.
You will love that Howard the Duck makes an appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
I knew that.
Okay. Did you know that the movie
Wait,
was
in Mission Breakout? No, I didn't know that.
But he's in the movie.
He's in the movie.
Yes.
I love Howard the Duck.
He's there with the Collector, and that's part of the ride out in California Adventure.
Yes, I love Howard the Duck.
The movie, Howard the Duck is a Marvel property, but the movie...
Really?
Yes.
I did not realize that.
Yes. Well, but the movie, it was turned into a movie by Lucasfilm in 1986.
Didn't realize that either.
Well...
But I think your segment was spot on. I'm not your target audience for that segment, but I tried really hard.
Yeah, thank you. Are you ready?
I'm totally ready for
Hopefully I'm
World
your target
Showcase.
audience.
You're going to love it. You are. Okay, so we're going to talk about another film this in World Showcase, and we're going to talk about, it's one of my favorites. It's probably one of my top 3 films of all time.
So not Star Wars or Indiana Jones movies.
No, it's The Princess Bride. And so why are we talking about The Princess Bride, you might say? Well, that's because it was released on Disney Plus May 1st of last year.
Okay.
So it's been out on Disney Plus for a year now. And I just want to say, if
for some reason, you've been under a rock since 1987 and you've never seen this movie. Spoilers, but also go out and freaking see it.
Yes.
Because it's an amazing movie.
It's wonderful. It's one of the most quotable movies ever.
Okay, now look, hush. Stop trying to steal my thunder. Okay, so we're going to start with a little background. First of all, the movie poster, this was how the movie was described on the poster. Scaling the cliffs of insanity, battling rodents of unusual size, facing torture in the pit of despair. True love has never been a snap. The movie was produced in 1987. The book was actually released in 1973. And Natch, people say the book is way better than the movie.
Natch.
You can bet that's already headed to me on Amazon. So it was shot in England and Ireland.
Okay.
And now here's the fun part. The screenplay was written by the original author of the book, William Goldman. Which I think is a huge deal. When the author writes the screenplay, I think it just, it's fantastic. Now, it was directed by Rob Reiner. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, William Goldman is Reiner's favorite author, and The Princess Bride was his favorite novel.
Interesting.
Okay, so this is from an article in Variety. It says, Rob Reiner's father, Carl Reiner, gave him the novel about the beautiful buttercup and the love of her life, Wesley, who with the help of a Spanish fencing master and a massive wrestler from Greenland, rescues her from the evil Prince Humperdinck to whom she is engaged. When All in the Family actor Reiner became a filmmaker with 1984's This Is Spinal Tap, he had his heart set on making The Princess Bride as a movie.
That's awesome.
So after he became a success, everybody was like, okay, so what's the next movie you want to make? He's like, Princess Bride.
That's awesome.
Nobody wanted him to do it. Oh. It was such a hard sell. He fought for this movie for years. So on Rotten Tomatoes, it's rated at 97%.
Wow, that's great.
That's fantastic, right? The budget was $16 million, which I get is a lot in 1987, but it was shot in England and Ireland, and it grossed $30.8 million. It was not hugely successful in the box office.
Right.
But it became a cult classic as a home movie.
Sure.
And Rob Reiner said on its 30th anniversary that people would still come up to him quoting the movie at restaurants or parties or in stores or on the streets or whatever. That is the one movie he's made that everybody still quotes to him.
That's great.
And he said, so even like 30 years after the movie was released, I mean, it took years before it made a profit.
Sure.
And then once the home movie market hit and it became a cult classic, then it suddenly was profitable, which is so fascinating to me. It stars Fred Savage, who, for those that don't know me, was my personal teenage crush. I had Fred Savage on my poster on my wall.
Lame.
Huge Fred Savage fan. Billy Crystal.
Oh, great.
Andre the Giant, Cary Elwes, that's Wesley, Peter Falk, which is the grandfather. When I was your age, television was called books. Robin Wright, who was Buttercup. She was also in Forrest Gump, and she's been in a lot of other things. Chris Sarandon, Wallace Shawn, and Mandy Patinkin. Right? I mean, so major stars.
I think Christopher Guest was also in that movie.
Oh, there's a long line. I just picked out a few.
Sure.
I just picked out a few. So here is the official, I don't know if it's the official summary or whatever. Here's the summary in a sentence.
Sure.
It tells the story of a farmhand named Wesley, accompanied by companions befriended along the way, who must rescue his true love, Princess Buttercup, from the odious Prince Humperdinck.
Yeah.
That
sums it up. Yeah.
So again, if you haven't watched it, it's been on Disney Plus for a year. What are you waiting on?
I can't believe it's only been on Disney Plus for a year. Of course, I guess Disney Plus has only been around for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to tell you 3 reasons why it's so great.
Okay.
All right. So number 1, sword fights.
Sword fights are always great.
I mean, and these are good sword fights.
They're great.
These are really good sword fights. Really lovable human heroes doing these sword fights alongside really stupid villains. I mean, that's like what everybody wants is humans in a sword fight, right? Inigo Montoya has been studying sword fighting his whole life to avenge his father's death. And when given the opportunity, he's not as great as you might think he would be.
Sure.
He's beatable. He's human, right?
Yeah.
But the villain is really, really stupid. And so here's the fun part. This film is action plus suspense plus comedy plus romance.
Yes.
So the fact that you can get all of those in one movie is really insane.
It's amazing.
It's insane. It's amazing. And do it well.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. I believe, this is number 2, I believe, and I'm going to go on record as saying this, that The Princess Bride created what is called the cheeky fairy tale.
Huh.
Right? So I don't know if fairy tales are considered a serious genre, but there's almost always a villain and a princess who takes herself very seriously, somebody that needs to be rescued.
Yes.
Not a lot of humor in typical fairy tales.
Sure.
I mean, Beauty and the Beast was a bit dark,
not
really humorous. But so typical fairy tales, I'm going to call a mildly serious genre.
Sure.
I think they invented the cheeky fairy tale.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Right? So you might think that the cheeky fairy tale was invented by men in tights.
No, okay.
Also starring
Carrie Elwes.
Right? He was Robin Hood in Men in Tights. Or Disney fans might think that the cheeky fairy tale was created by Shrek.
Oh, man.
And so I would argue that it started with The Princess Bride. It was so successful that they went on to create Men in Tights, also a huge cult classic that I loved. I could sing that song forever. And then Shrek became sort of the Disney version of the cheeky fairy tale. Sure. So I think that's a big deal. Carrie Elwes was Wesley, Robin Hood. Fun fact, he was also in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Carrie Elwes?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
He was like a theater actor.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, he was fantastic.
Tall blonde lady.
Yes. Okay. So, as you said earlier, spoilers, it is the most quotable movie ever produced. I'm going to go on record as saying that too. It is the most quotable movie ever produced. I can see by your face.
I mean, I
that you don't necessarily agree with that.
It's very quotable.
And you and I quote movies like it's a separate language.
Sure.
We are constantly quoting movies. But in any case, I'm gonna draw that line in the sand and say it's the most quotable movie ever.
Most quotable. Okay.
Ever.
Well, who am I to argue with you?
Exactly. Who are you to argue with me? The dialogue and the banter between the characters is brilliant. Wesley, I love so much, but a lot of the characters are really smart. So I've been quoting The Princess Bride since 1987. I quoted it heavily in high school. I was really, really into The Princess Bride in high school. The number of people that I called a warthog face buffoon in high school was just...
Boy, you were really...
I was deep into it. The insults and the exclamations, I think, stand the test of time. You can still say them today. So, inconceivable is what he would say.
I don't
to be
think
followed
that means
up
what
with,
you think that means.
You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. It's fantastic. When somebody uses a word inappropriately,
that invariably, I do not think that means what you think it means.
Keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Fred Savage. Is this a kissing book?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the number one, it's not my number one, but the number one, As You Wish.
As You Wish.
As You Wish.
Well, what's your number one?
I'm not a witch. I'm your wife.
Did that one become your number one after you got married?
But I think the one that most people remember is Marriage is what brings us together today.
Yeah.
Right. That's the one a lot of people quote.
Yeah.
Another one I love, never get involved in a land war in Asia. Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something.
That's right.
Right? Never go against a Sicilian when death is on the line. See, you're loving this. I'll use small words so that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog face buffoon. The number of people I said that to in high school is countless. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Right?
He was a six-handed man.
Six-fingered man. Six-fingered man.
A six-handed man would have been crazy.
Very crazy. Still, my favorite is, I'm not a witch, I'm your wife.
Carol Kane delivered that line in spectacular fashion.
She did, really. And I'm not even sure I'm going to be that much longer. It's an amazing movie.
I think people should know quotable. I don't actually call you a witch.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. But sometimes I say that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think maybe we should watch that tonight.
I think we really should. I mean, I'm totally feeling it.
Obviously.
And I'm gonna revive the warthog face buffoon insult because
revive it, honey. Bring it back.
I was really cool in high school.
Yes, it seems like maybe you were.
Loved by all, as it were.
Really. Lots of opportunity to call people that.
I had a lot of opportunity to call people that. I made really good grades.
So, folks, that is it for this week's show. All of you warthog face buffoons out there.
You need more practice with it.
I do. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Go out to your platform of choice. Subscribe to the podcast so that you get it automatically. You don't have to worry about going out and downloading it. And give us a rating and a review. It really helps bring other people to the show.
Yes, and if you're looking for more things Disney, please visit scfadp.com. Now I'll use small words so that you understand, you warthog face buffoon. That's S for super, C for Callie, F for fragilistic, A for awesome, D for Disney, P for podcast. No bonus episodes this week, but
that we're aware of.
That we're aware of. Who knows? You need to enter the contest.
That's right. Like stuff, comment on stuff, share. Mm-hmm. Find us on all the socials at SCFADP on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Supercalifragilistic Awesome Disney Podcast is the channel on YouTube. Go subscribe to that. And with that, we hope to see you real soon.